My people, play. This one, things don dey get as e be o. E don happen, my people. No be small thing o. Wahala don happen. As I dey talk to una so, everywhere don dey shake because right now, Tinubu don go put hand for wetin be say im power no reach am o. So tey the northerners now, people dey talk say person wey dey rule for Aso Rock, e dey different o because dem talk say how Tinubu go dey for that position wey another people dey pass under Tinubu dey rule. E get as e be o. Water don pass garri. As I dey talk to una so, table leg don break. I go like make una go watch video, make una see the kind thing wey be say e leak come outside from Aso Rock, wey dey shock people say una sure say na Tinubu na im dey rule us o, abi another person don collect position for Tinubu hand wey we no know. Make una go watch video.
Let me ask you, the office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation coordinates some of these appointments, and the presidency is supposed to have a handshake when there's an approver. The SGF office and all other relevant offices are supposed to have an handshake to do the diligence. Security agencies are supposed to do that. The farmer, the young man that was appointed as the chairman of the board of FEMA, that's a federal road maintenance agency, said to have finished his youth service last year. He was an assistant to Dave Umahi, the Minister of Works, a few months ago. A bright young man who finished from Brighton and all of the school in the UK, but only finished youth service, and was appointed a few days ago to head FEMA. Now his appointment has been withdrawn. There are a lot of people who have raised their fears about appointing such a young person because of his experience as a chair of a board. What do you think could have happened? Is it possible that the president doesn't know who he was appointing?
Let us be fair to the young man. This is a Nigerian young man, from what I hear, a bright young man. So really, he has no fault in this matter, in the sense that if he's being asked to do something, that's okay. But the system should have been able to know this kind of job. Who are those that, or what are the kind of qualifications that are required for this job, right? And it is this kind of criteria that will determine or guide those who are going to be, selected for that particular responsibility. So I can see clearly things have gone wrong. You are talking about the coordination and the synergy between the office of the Secretary to Government, the office of the security, and all the rest of it. It looks like from the time of the last government, I remember a very senior, an MD of a big parastatal, was removed just like that on the radio. And I called him. I heard this. Is it true? He said he also heard it. So I called the Secretary of Government then. I said, Secretary, I've just heard this. For what I know is that you were the one who signed his letter of appointment. So did you, he said he also heard it on the news. He never wrote any letter to him, the Secretary to the Government at that time. So it looks to me that the current president has inherited the terrible system and he's not improving on it. And this is why everything seems to be going down the drain.
If you are the president, this kind of thing is happening, Dr. Bugajo, who would you hold responsible?
Let me tell you first, if I was the president, this thing will not even happen, Sheun. It will not even happen. If it should, anybody who is involved will be fired straight away.
But who should be your go-to man? Now, who should be your gatekeeper in that sense?
As far as I know, if they not change the system, it's the Secretary to the Government. But the Secretary to the Government may not even know. He may not even know. So, because I gave you an example of what happened. I called the Secretary of the Government then, and he said he has no idea. I even called the Chief of Staff at that time. And I said, Chief of Staff. He said, oh, yes, he heard about it. I said, you mean you were not part of it? He said, no, I was not part of it.
So is a concept of cabalism?
Well, there are people around the president. I mean, we saw it in the last regime. And it looks like it's a continuum which is a very sad and tragic thing, that, this thing called a few people, and, without the knowledge of the officers that are responsible, will connive and collect money and do all manners of things and then start appointing people or giving them letters. There was somebody in the last government who got one appointment from one particular, he got one appointment letter and he got another letter sacking him. Of course, he dropped the one that sacked him and took the appointment. And then later on, the other person, it's all very messy. And this is the problem of incompetence. If you do not prioritize knowledge and integrity in your appointment, that is exactly what you're going to get.
This
country will continue to suffer because all institutions will decay, they will not do their jobs, and of course, our image, even within the country,
If you were the president, and I ask again, this kind of flip-flop, who should be losing their job today?
Well, whoever is involved, I would go.
The question is, if I'm I'm working closely with you,
anybody
if I'm your right-hand man, because before the president makes an approval, there should be someone who checks before the president gets
Precisely,
the letter.
that's what I told you.
So the question is,
in fact,
who should be the president's right-hand man?
The checks are at about 3 levels. When I was in the presidency, usually the special advisors, this is part of their job. Now, when they do that, then it goes through the system. That is, the security will do their checks, the secretary to the government will do his check, and depending upon who you are appointing, sometimes the head of service also do his check, if he has any record of the head of service. If he has been through the service and he's been being given a political appointment. So all those that are involved must do their check, and then they come back. And you now consult the political stakeholders, either people from the party, from that particular zone, or from that particular state. You have to clear with them, because maybe he has some issues, with them. You wouldn't want until after the appointment that they do a delegation, they come and complain. That it means that you are going to be entertaining complaints every now and then.
Dr. Bukaje, because you will see as though there is a knee-jerk approach in all of these, instances, and it happened too many times. You see the appointment of the EFCC chairman. Those who have criticized to say, look, this man does not meet the basic fundamental requirement of the law, the Establishment Act, of the cognate experience that is needed for him to have been either a police officer or to have been trained as an investigator. In fact, on the inside in the EFCC, there are those who are aggrieved to say he doesn't have that experience. Yes, as an administrator, as a lawyer, 22 years of experience. That came. So when he was appointed, there was a subsisting man from the same region of the country heading the ICPC. It took a Femi Falana who criticized it on China's television. The presidency afterward had to remove. And there has been cases over and over again like that people would have to point out. Ministers who appeared for screening, they've been asked to turn them back because the presidency at the last minute had withdrawn their nominations. This kind of situation, is the president able to salvage this situation quickly?
I don't know. I can't answer that question. He would be the one to answer. But I can tell you one thing. Clearly, what we have seen are evidence of the fact that the president is not in charge. Someone else is in charge. Now, it's for him to figure out if he wants to really be in charge. How can a name get to the point of getting to the National Assembly for clearance? That's the final stage. And then you don't even know. Anybody who would